Rock Hudson was born in Winnetka, Illinois, the only child of telephone operator Catherine Wood and auto mechanic Roy Harold Scherer, who abandoned the family during the depths of the Great Depression. When Raymond Burr was 6, his parents divorced. Burr's mother moved to Vallejo, California, with him and his younger siblings, Geraldine and James. His father remained in New Westminster, Canada. Barry Manilow did not really know his biological father, and at age 13 he legally changed his name to his mother's maiden name of Manilow. In a 1997 U.S. Weekly interview, Rupert Everett was asked, "Was your father away a lot?" Everett replied, "When I was very little he was. I come from a very, very conventional military naval family." Everett left home when he was 16 and supported himself by male prostitution. Anderson Cooper's father suffered a series of heart attacks while undergoing open-heart surgery and died January 5, 1978. Anderson was only 11 years old. With Stanley Dwight, Elton John's father, uninterested in his son and often physically absent, Elton John was raised primarily by his mother and maternal grandmother. When his father was home, the Dwights would have terrible arguments that greatly distressed their son. When Elton John was 14, they divorced. In an interview on the CBC radio show Q, Dan Savage said, "My father and I never got along. I was always a mama's boy. I realized I was a homosexual by the time I was a young teen, and when I went to come out to my parents, my father divorced my mother, and so I didn't want to heap more stuff on her, so I left until I was in my late teens, and then I came out to her." According to Dan Savage, his mother went into shock, called up her priest for counsel, who then confessed to her that he was also gay, according to Savage. Ricky Martin's parents divorced when he was 2 years old, and Martin spent much of his childhood shifting between his father's home in the suburbs of University Gardens, a suburban middle-class neighborhood in San Juan, and his paternal grandmother's house. Martin received his musical inspiration from the side of his family which was musically inclined, his mother's. In Alan Cummings' autobiography, Not My Father's Son, Cummings describes emotional and physical violence his father inflicted on him in childhood. His mother found it impossible to obtain a divorce until she was financially independent. Cummings said that after he reached his early 20s, he did not have any communication with his father until just before the filming of his episode of the series Who Do You Think You Are? He then found out that his father had believed that Cummings is not his biological son. Later, Cummings and his brother took DNA tests that proved they were indeed his biological children. When asked in a 2004 GQ interview about the nature versus nurture argument regarding how a person becomes homosexual, George Michael replied, "In my case, it was a nurture thing, via the absence of my father, who was always busy working. It meant I was exceptionally close to my mother."